I think we met Vella's mother when Deanan was 12 years old. Vella's mother came to this country. But we wrote, and when Arnold was born, we wrote and told them. And Deanan was 12. She came to this country. And she told me I was the best daughter-in-law she ever had. Interesting, eh? Never know. Because a lot of the family, the Tamils married the Tamils, and here was Vella not marrying a Tamil, and our marriage lasted more than the others. But now there's a lot of mixed marriages going on at the moment, mainly among, I think not mainly, the Indians I don't think have moved that much socially, I don't think. I hear about marriages, mixed marriages between whites and Afrikaners and English. Vella was a go-between from the South African Communist Party in London. He was the man, our man in London. Well, they banned the Communist Party of South Africa, and they needed to. They went underground, and we brought out a magazine called The African Communist in London, and we sent it to South Africa by post, tore off the cover, and a lot of people in South Africa received it. They told me, you know what, when I got The African Communist, I put it under my mattress, because if the police caught it, we would have gone to jail. You would have gone to prison. You weren't allowed to read that material. You weren't allowed to mention the word Mandela. Did you know that?
Can I see this? So what was Vella's pseudonym?
Slowly.
Zadi. I would like to read this.
And Ellis Bowles didn't exist, you know. He does exist, but you know the people behind how you can do a subscription. And my friend, I've got friends from South Africa who live now in London now, and they said every time we got this, we couldn't wait to get it. And where did we put it under? There was no cover, so nobody could tell what it was. The cover had to come off, pulled out the cover. And if they were found with that, they would go to jail. Did you know that? If they were found with that, they would go to jail. So we used to hide it under my mattress behind the curtain. Can you imagine, Tamesh, the police coming in the middle of the night, raiding your house, and taking away all the books? You know what they took away from a family? They took away Black Beauty. You know the story of the Black Beauty? They thought it was a political book and they banned it from the banned list. Black Beauty. When they didn't expel us. They didn't expel us. They didn't expel us. But they just said, we don't need you. We don't want you anymore.
When was that?
When the Soviet Union and China came to blows. You know, the people, there was animosity between the Soviet Union and China. And Vella was told, if you work for the Bank of China, you cannot be our representative anymore. Either choose the Bank of China. So Vella chose the Bank of China and stayed with the Chinese. And that was the end of Vella's dealings with the SACP, which was heartbreaking for Vella and heartbreaking for me. It was a terrible period, but we didn't go on a campaign to say dirty things. We just kept dead quiet and said nothing about anything. Kept our membership of the ANC, kept on working for the but during the anti-apartheid days, and that's politics, you know, it's terrible when you think of how you can expel people and the next minute you're friendly with them. And then when we were in South Africa, the SACP had a raffle, and the first prize was a trip for two to Beijing. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? After when Vella was doing the Merck program in Johannesburg, the SACP had a raffle, and the first prize was a trip for two to Beijing, because there wasn't the Soviet Union anymore, was there? So back you go to where you can get support. Have you heard of a man called Shubin? Well, I've got the book now. Arnon sent me the book from Amazon. Shubin, Vladimir Shubin, was a member of the KGB. And he knew Vella very well, because at that time Vella was au fait. He was going to Moscow, blah, 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 whatever. And after the collapse of the Soviet Union, Vladimir Shubin started lecturing at became a professor at the Western Province University in Cape Town. And he goes all over the world. He's an economist. And he came for dinner. It's a nice chap, actually, Shubin. It's quite a nice guy. He came to 73 for dinner one evening, and he gave me a copy of his book. I couldn't find it anywhere, but Arnon managed to get me a copy, which is coming from Amazon any day now. And that's got a hold of the period of when Vella was active in. Because remember, Timish, the ANC wasn't involved in an armed struggle. You know that it was at one point when they had the Kliptown meeting, the Freedom Charter was formed, and the Freedom Charter, everybody came together, and then they said, well, we can't carry on this, so we have to have an armed struggle. We can't manage. We have to do other things. It's not working. We have to, and they embarked on the armed struggle. But then you had to convince the Russians and the Chinese why the ANC was going into an armed struggle. So that's when Vella went all over. He went to China, he went to the Soviet Union to tell people this is what the ANC are doing now. They're going into the armed struggle. Contact was CSWE, and that's when we're going to start working on. That was that point. And then crash bang, I don't want you anymore. It's heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. It was when the Soviet Union and the China were at loggerheads, saying terrible things to each other, horrible. Then they couldn't have Vella, who works for the Bank of China, representing them. That's their point of view. I'm sorry, the Russians won't have it. We can't do it. It could have happened. Vella could have stayed on and done it.